Hello. You're very welcome back to episode 47 of the P.S. Gilmore story, and we're now in Manhattan Beach. Manhattan Beach at the base of Brooklyn in New York. And we're going to look at Manhattan Beach and indeed its story. And here is a map of Manhattan Beach today, and you can see hotels, for instance, on the left there, Manhattan Beach Hotel, and on the right, the Oriental Beach Hotel. And this originally was, sand dunes, populated by nothing other than rabbits, undeveloped. And this guy, Austin Corbin, a major railroad and industrialist, and one of the prodigies of the Gilded Age, got the bright idea. He developed this ground because he had a child who was suffering from some health difficulties, and he got it into his head that, and he was probably right, that the sea breezes helped his son. This is actually Austin Corbin's personal business car, luxurious as it could be. Corbin was a very unusual individual. He basically, for instance, in his discussions for doing the deal on Long Island, he managed to persuade the Indian tribes of Long Island. He talked them, I suppose, out of their ancestral homes, their ancestral land, and I believe it's a case that's still going on today. And he would eventually build a hotel called Manhattan Beach. And the idea, of course, was to bring as many people as possible from New York and Brooklyn to the seashores, and then home again afterwards every day, and make a proverbial fortune. Here's Corbin building in Manhattan today as it exists, still bearing his name, I believe. Corbin, as I said, was very, very unusual, very ruthless, and of course what he decided to do, because he needed to pack this place daily, was to hire the most attractive entertainment that there was out there, and that was Gilmore's band. But whilst we're complimenting Corbin, please note that this says here that he contributed greatly to preserving American bison from extinction by supplying parks and zoos all over the US. I'm sure they had to be transported there by railroad. So he got well paid for that. So here's Manhattan Beach Hotel on the left, the long building. And on the right there, that would be the bathing area where you'd go and rent your bathing costumes, as they call them, and return them afterwards, and so on. In that hotel, it was equipped to the last for both the very, very wealthy and the very, very ordinary. Here's the story of the account of the recent, as says here, Jewish controversy. See, Corbin was an anti-Semite, and there was even cartoons against Jewish people, which were despicable. I know Gilmore had various arguments against Corbin whilst performing in Manhattan Beach, and he absolutely hated this part of this man. But this was the Gilded Age for you. The people at the lowest rung of the ladder didn't get much of a fair break, to put it very mildly. Gilmore's grand concerts, it says here, August the 9th, 1879. Now, this was a project under development. So they were learning how to basically entertain, how to package the entertainment, and how to attract the customers. There was no problem when you had Gilmore playing because the people were going to come. The lowest attendance figure I ever saw for, I think, 13 years was 4,000, and it happened to be because of dreadful weather. The highest in one day for Gilmore's band was 72,000. On the right here, you see the moneymaker here, the timetable from Greenpoint Division through Bay Ridge and so on. Here's a report. The evening was well advanced before the visitors felt like leaving the fairy scene presented in front of the hotel, but the Manhattan Railroad ran trains until all who desired returned to the city, etc. The firework exhibition is to be repeated every Saturday night, and the company promises a different program. Here is the railroad station, the initial railroad station, and there was basically only two ways you could get to Manhattan Beach. One was by railroad, the other was from ferries, and both did a roaring trade. Here's the bandstand where Gilmore's band would have played from in Manhattan Beach, with people sitting in front. You'll see they're holding umbrellas up there. That's to keep the sun literally off them and give them a little bit of protection. The effect of this was that people would plan. Now, bear in mind, the Gilded Age was giving a little bit of an increased wage to those in New York and Brooklyn and maybe in New Jersey as well. So they had a new income to use. We call it today disposable income. And so they planned to spend $1 or $2 to come to Manhattan Beach, pack their sandwiches, and basically enjoy the day. Here's an example of what sort of entertainment all of the soloists would be playing, Raffiola, etc. And these became the stars of Gilmore's band. And people got used to expecting the unexpected. How would such an musician interpret a piece of music or whatever? It says here, Gilmore's band has been engaged for the season. The management will be under Mr. Burnap, who was in charge of Manhattan for the last 3 years. There's been a new bulkhead added, and it's 1/2 mile in length, and it'll be finished next month. He states that former patrons of the hotel have already engaged rooms for the season. And so here we come up to the 1880 season and the program that's going to be expected. Next week, we're going to come back to Manhattan Beach and the second part of the story. It is a wonderful story itself, and it's part and parcel of the development of not only entertainment and not only Gilmore's band, but the development of America and its social history, I suppose, as well, and how America grabbed, if you like, this development with both hands and absolutely was delighted with it. Thank you very much for being with me today, and click subscribe and like, and we'll talk to you next week. And thank you. Bye now.